we talk about Derby or any of these other organizations just being a micro facet of the whole picture of social and racial injustice, things that I'm sure Foxy has dealt with a lot, Mamba, and then in some aspects myself, I would say in a much lesser extent, is the white damsel in distress. Like when you hit somebody and somebody's like, oh my God, and it's dealt with from a ref level a wholly different way. And I remember one of the last games that I had in KCRW is that it was a final game. We weren't in the top two, but it was a final game. And I was accused of punching somebody. And from a ref, and like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I can't imagine you punching somebody. So
well, and I took it especially hard, and I sat myself out pretty much the rest of the game because it was coming from a ref who had trained me when I was in rec. And I thought to myself, like, none of my time, none of my effort for the league matters, because I'll be accused of something that, like punching.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was like a bad block, but I would never actively punch somebody.
Yeah.
And that was probably the breaking point for me. I stayed on a little bit longer in the league, saying like, okay, I'll take it one more year. But then there was a couple of other things that had happened that I just was like, I'm done. I'm done giving my time, because it doesn't matter. And you're going to celebrate people who act like a white damsel in distress, who interrupt people all the time. And my voice doesn't matter here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There comes a time, like I still really enjoy skating.
Yeah.
I still skate. But whether or not I would come back to Derby, I don't know, because that organization just left such a poor experience towards the end of it that I was done. There are things that more senior skaters that have said to me that were like, oh no, it's just a joke and I didn't mean it that way. And then like nothing happens to them. And I have to either just take it, laugh it off like a joke, or if I say like it's not okay, then it's received as the, sorry Melody, but like this white simpering like, oh no, I didn't mean it, I'm so sorry. And like it becomes all about them and not really about what they said and actually being sorry about it.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's an incredibly valid point. And I know that like, with us talking about implementing a bigger program, I think, for racial sensitivity training and helping leagues understand that. But like, I remember when you told me that you were done with Derby and about some things that had happened, I was like, how did I not see this? I don't know what can be done outside of, I mean, training is one thing, but like here we have a president right now who's trying to get rid of this type of training, in workforce. So like, do you have any thoughts on like, how can it be taken seriously? What's the answer? What's the solution here?
I mean, just like a lot of social justice and racial justice training out there, is that it is a skill that we have to unlearn.
Yeah.
And we never fully arrive. We don't come to one day and say, oh, I am completely not racist. I am anti-racist, 100%. But it's the lack of taking active steps in any sort of positive direction that I become frustrated with.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, because roller derby is mostly white dominated, you should not be asking your Black, Indigenous, people of color to do this work,
Yep.
period.
Yep.
It's up to the rest of the league to do better. And note that none of the people, if you're Black, Indigenous, person of color, those people, few, may not have all of your answers. We're not some mystical being and saying like, oh, well, if you do X, Y, Z, we're going to become the perfect league.
Mm-hmm.
That does not exist. But I mean, there are some measures that I really, really hope that leagues can become very accountable for, especially the barrier to entry of the league. So, okay, well, maybe we can't do anything in the immediate term about insurance because it's a larger organization. Okay, what are the things that we could do? Okay, well, we can implement a skate program, a skate rental program, or just flat out, here's some skates.
Mm-hmm.
Here are skates, here's something discounted. This is how you can sign up for it in a very easy manner. Don't ask people to go through like 3 more hoops, be like, oh, well, this is how you get the discount. This is who you need to talk to in some other place. Make it very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some things that could be done. And because I'm not in the league right now, I don't want to say that they aren't working on these things or whatever they're working on. I don't know. So it's possible that some of these things are happening. But yeah, it's interesting to me that there are certain leagues that are out there that will take active steps towards, maybe they're going as a group to a protest, or they're going as a group to support the Women's March.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have other leagues that are like, we're going to do a publicity event at an Elks Lodge.
Yeah.
Or we're going to take one team and we're going to go do something at a car dealership.
Yeah.
Because it's publicity, which I understand it's publicity, but was that really the only publicity we could get?
One of the other things is I remember you posting after the Atlanta Roller Girls had come out with their statement about, this is not acceptable, that you were like, come on, KCRW, come on. And it took a long time for them to say, we stand with, I don't remember if they said that we stand with Black Lives Matter, but they were basically finally coming out and saying racism is not okay and we're taking a stand. But it felt like it was really after the fact, and it wasn't until like somebody like you urged them and said, do better, you guys. That was disappointing to me, especially as a communications person, and I used to do a lot of the communications for KCRW. So for me, it was like, it should have just been something that was like, boom, here's where we stand. That to me was kind of shocking and just disappointing, especially knowing how vocal people like you and Foxy have been. I need to follow Mamba so I see what else she's saying, and Tracy too, like all of these people who have come out and been like, we're tired and it shouldn't take all of this work to get you guys to just be like, our people matter.
Yeah, it's and I think some people on the receiving end of that didn't understand they didn't understand why I had to do a call out. There's a sense of anti call out culture, or saying that, I'm more woke than you. I am definitely not more woke. I'm somebody in my mid 30s. I'm privileged. I just, I am Indian, but I'm not more woke. It's just that, 7 years of being in the league,
Mhm.
I didn't see significant changes. I see all of these other derby leagues doing something about it, saying something about it.
Yeah.
And I don't see one of, I think KCRW considers themselves like a founding member or
Mhm.
one of, you know, one of the first leagues that were out there.
Yeah.
And when I don't see them doing anything, I'm like, really? Like the last post you did was about shirts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And and in KC particularly, there have been there's several different organizations out there. There's Black Rainbow KC. There's One Struggle KC, KC Bail Fund. There's lots of organizations that are supporting the BLM movement, but also trying to unravel racist behavior in KC itself from the police chief that, okay, you don't want to take a cause that may be on a national level and you want to work with local organizations. There are local organizations to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are local things to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a call out, but I don't know if that was necessarily the only instigator that caused them to create a statement about it.
Yeah. Well, who do you think is doing it well, or helping break down these boundaries? I guess I think Atlanta is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, they are putting stuff out, which is amazing. And then, we've talked about Black, Indigenous, people of color. They have an Instagram. I'm not even sure where else they are. I think Team Indigenous is somebody I follow, or a group I follow. Who else would you recommend if people want to learn more? Who should they be following?
Here, I want to make sure I am writing the handle right.
Yeah.
So, uh, BIPOC who skate, that is a great
Yeah.
group to follow on Instagram. And then there's also Black Diaspora Derby, also on Instagram. Occasionally they'll have some, I think it's called Instagram series, where they're interviewing different Black skaters around the US and elsewhere. So that's a great resource as well. So, and then occasionally, is it Rose City Roller Derby?
Yeah.
Occasionally they'll put out some items that are, I think, yeah, Rose City Rollers, sorry.
Okay.
Rose City Rollers. And I believe Gotham Roller Derby has done occasionally some, there's Facebook talks.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I actually think Tracy's been involved in some of that too. And she's helping do some education. So I definitely want to tag those organizations in this, because they've been really helpful for me, and enlightening, in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.